faces and some unfamiliar faces, but mostly familiar faces. So it's lovely to see everybody on another 4:30 a.m. start in Sydney. Hopefully I'm a little bit more comprehensible this time than the last time. Yeah, so I'm speaking to you from Santi Forest Monastery in outside Sydney in New South Wales. And yes, this is the beautiful meditation hall and the beautiful monastery that Santi is. If you ever come to Australia, you must visit. It's absolutely one of those magical monasteries. Okay, so we'll begin with a bit of meditation and then a Dhamma talk. So I hope everyone is in a nice mood, well, or not, and a nice space and ready to sit back and give yourself a bit of time. Okay, I hope you're comfortable and quiet, and at least quiet outside. And just closing our eyes. And allowing our mind to draw inward. Into the world of your body and crazy mind. Sorry, but mine is so. But yeah, drawing inward into the world of your body and mind. So the first step in our busy lives is just to relax. Just to give ourselves the permission that it's okay to drop things. It's okay to allow ourselves, just for this half an hour, to take a break from the world. Come to the end of the day. Now you have a bit of time for yourself. So just letting your body relax. Starting with our feet, our legs. Letting them unwind. And then our abdomen. Again, the knots that we hold in our body. giving them a chance to just be, accepted just as it is. We give it a little bit of love and attention, our bodies. And our chest. Allowing ourselves to let things out. And our arms all the way down to our fingertips. Then our neck and shoulders. Again, just a gentle attention. Just noticing how it feels. And then our head. And the sense of our whole body. Being grateful that it functions. Being grateful that it serves us. Being grateful that most of its parts are still working. Keeping your mind just a sense of being here, sense of being in this body. Sense of being in the space that we're in. And remember, you're allowing yourself to unwind. You're not trying to achieve anything, make anything happen. But just noticing noticing what is going on for you. And giving yourself permission to let it go. Then for the next 15 minutes or so, allowing your mind to go to its usual object of meditation, be it your breath or maybe loving kindness meditation, whatever it is that your mind naturally goes to. If it is ready. And we'll sit quietly for another 15 minutes or so. Your mind, as it wanders away, that's okay. We're training ourselves to bring it back. Not condemning ourselves but like looking after a little puppy that doesn't know how to behave. You just keep bringing it back. Keep teaching it. We come to the end of the meditation, short though it was. Just noticing how you feel right now compared to how you started. And seeing what you learned, what helped you or hindered you. What makes the mind peaceful? What makes the mind agitated? We dedicate the merit of our practice, or any peace that we have in our life, with those around us, our family, our friends. And ultimately, all beings, may there be peace in their lives. May they find happiness, the true causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the true causes of suffering. May all beings be at ease and at peace. Okay, so when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. I hope you're feeling a little bit peaceful, if not had a nap. Oh gosh. Okay, so I thought I'd talk today about a little practice that I do, which I find very useful. And very simple as well. And you know, we miss out on simple things. We're so busy trying to fix complicated problems. We're so busy trying to fix the world outside, and we don't realize how much beauty we have already within. So this is a talk about Silanussati, or recollecting one's own virtue. Recollecting one's own virtue. And the reason I'm talking about this is because we're supreme fault finders, aren't we? All the things in the world, we can find that one niggly thing that happened like 10 hours ago, and replay it in our mind and not notice the 10 billion things that are good about us, that we have done well. And Silanussati, sila being virtue, the word in Pali, sila means your virtue. We actually have a lot of it, and we don't stop and think of how good we've done, what good we've done, right? We can only remember the one one bad thing that happened 10 hours ago, but how many good things we've done. So I use this practice to just to inspire myself about myself, to counteract that tendency to be critical and judgmental about our own minds. I don't know why we do it, but we do. I don't know, maybe not I'm sure there are many people who don't, but it seems to be, I'm not the only one that we're uh, quick to find fault with the world and ourselves. And so I do it to just to feel good about myself, to bring some joy to the mind. And also, it's actually a practice that the Buddha recommended. There are these anussatis, these recollection meditations there are several. There's um, uh, uh, well, metta, I think, is one of them. Anyway, there's like a Buddha Anussati, the Buddha Anussati qualities, recollecting the Buddha. So it could be bringing to mind qualities of a beautiful human being, not necessarily Buddha. Someone who deeply inspires you, a teacher that you have, or a person that you've met that you go, my goodness, what an amazing quality. And to bring that quality to mind, it makes it, it makes it your own in a way. So Buddha Anusati, and then there's other ones like Marana Anusati, which is Marana is death, recollecting one's death. And again, that seems to be, it sounds a bit morbid, but when we bring to mind our mortality, we sit up, we seriously sit up, because if we're not going, we can't take our lives for granted. It's not always going to be, this good. It's not going to be always this good or this bad. So our lives are the fleeting nature of this life. So Marananusati, recollecting that, things, you could be gone. You could be gone. Well, you could be gone in a moment. Anyway, and then another recollections are recollecting your generosity, chaganusati, which we'll kind of touch on today. But all these are different ways that the Buddha spoke about of using our mind to cultivate it, not just sitting with our breath, which is often very difficult if you've been busy, but bringing to mind a subject that is makes the mind more wholesome. So Silanussati, recollecting one's virtue, is a bona fide meditation method. So yeah. So the other benefit of recollecting one's virtue is that it brings a sense of clarity to the mind, a sense of moral clarity. What are the things that are worthy of keeping? So when you actually bring to mind, for example, the 5 precepts, you have, rather than it being a blur what you did during the day, you kind of go like, right, did I actually speak well? Did I, what? Misconduct myself sexually, not in a big way, but subtle ways, it just brings some clarity to your life. What was it that was worthy? What was it that was not really very skillful? So recollecting your virtue, you get a sense of what did I do and what should I be doing and what shouldn't I be doing? So it brings some clarity to the mind as well of what is wholesome and what is, well, that was a waste of time. Because sometimes we do it and then we kind of know, that wasn't quite right, but you're not really very sure. So that's one reason to recollect one's virtue. And yeah, it just makes the little things in our life. Our life is full of just small little activities that we sort of think we have to do, take the kids to school, cook a meal, speak to one of our clients or whatever it is. It makes it not just a job to be done, but something that we can use as part of our practice to develop our virtue in how we relate to the world, how we interact with the world. Is it coming from a place of just getting the job done, or is it coming from a place of wanting to be kind and be of service to the people who you serve in your job? So it yeah, your integrity, your virtue makes your sort of mundane world not just a job to be done, but something that is part of your practice. I love this little story. It comes from the Bhagavad Gita, and it's Krishna. Anyway, someone is building a temple, right? Someone is building a Krishna temple, and Krishna sees this, and he's of course Krishna, so he comes in one of his apparitions, and he sees this man building a Krishna temple, and so he doesn't know it's Krishna. He comes and asks him, what are you doing? And the man who's building the temple says, I'm building a Krishna temple. And Krishna says, well, why are you building a Krishna temple? He says, and he said, oh, I got the contract. I'm getting my job done. So I'm building this temple, one of many jobs that I need to do, and this one is a good one. So Krishna says, okay. And anyway, he goes away, and then he sees another man, and what's he doing? He's building a Krishna temple. Comes up and again in one of his apparitions and asks yet a second person, what are you doing? And he says, well, I'm building a Krishna temple. And he said, oh, why are you building a Krishna temple? And he says, oh, I'm so happy because I love to build. I love all the joinery, the detail that's required to create this, mandapa, this structure, and it's just my favorite thing. I just love to build. So Krishna says, oh, okay, right, okay. He goes away, and then there's a third person, and he's building a Krishna temple. So Krishna comes to him in one of his apparitions and says, oh, what are you doing? And he says, I'm building a Krishna temple. And he says, well, why are you building a Krishna temple? And his replying is, he replies, I'm doing it for God. I'm doing it for Krishna himself. This is a divine act. And so the mundane things that we do, the simple tasks that we do, how we do it, is it getting a job done? Or is it something divine? Is it a service? Is it an act of generosity? the very same thing that we do at work, to do it, I'm doing this. For me, of course, it's very easy living in the monastery. It is very directly sweeping the floor, mopping the floor, it's a place of peace. I'm creating a place of peace for people to come and find some solace in their life. So the same with whatever it is, all of us do a service, isn't it? All of us in some way are benefiting the world in some big or small way. And to remember that this is not just a job, it's something divine. Can we make it something divine? So recollecting one's virtue just changes at the end of the day the attitude that we have towards the little things that we do, and brings clarity into what is of what is worthy and what is just, blur, not worth following. So anyway, what is Silanussati and how do we practice it? So Sila or virtue is what we do by body, speech, and mind, isn't it? Our acts of body, speech, and mind. So the main okay, so we go through one at a time. Acts of body. Acts of body. So we don't exactly go around clubbing people and robbing their houses, but we can acknowledge that. We can be happy, we can delight in that, isn't it? Delight in the fact that we were harmless people today. Maybe you didn't have the opportunity to rob a bank, but you didn't even think of robbing a bank. You could be something small. You could have taken a pen from your office and brought it home, because it's a million pens in the office, but you didn't, because it's not mine. I thought about it before taking something that isn't just necessarily ours. So such small little things, we keep our integrity before we pick up something that wasn't given to us. So just noticing, how did I behave in my bodily actions? Part of the 5 precepts. I didn't kill, I didn't steal, no sexual misconduct. Those are the 3 big ones. But you didn't. And be grateful at the end of the day that you are a person of integrity. And when you don't keep these precepts, you feel miserable. You don't know why you feel miserable, but there's something in your mind that just niggles and goes, I don't know why I'm not feeling good. But when you do good things, acknowledge it. Or when you do not do bad things, also acknowledge it. I could have, but I didn't. So acts of body. So those are the ones that come in the precepts. But of course, there are the good things that you did as well as in acts of body. There are also the many things we do in our day that's generous. Our jobs itself, helping someone who was in trouble, someone in the shopping center was struggling to put all their stuff on the counter. You said, oh, let me, and you helped them pull everything out. Someone was looking lost. You said, it was so nice when I was in Oxford, actually. Oxford has a lot of tourists, and I obviously look like a tourist. No, I also could look terribly normal in Oxford as well. And I was with my phone, turning it upside down and trying to work out. I don't know. I was actually just trying to answer a call, and then someone just stopped and said, "Oh, are you lost? Do you need to, where are you trying to get to?" Just a simple act of kindness, a simple act of generosity, all acts of body that we do in the course of our day that we never give ourselves credit for. So this is something you can do at the end of the day. Just recollect, what did I do? Acts of body that I am so happy. I give myself a pat on the back. I helped someone. Yeah, and that's the first category. And then acts of speech. Speech. Oh my goodness. We can do so many good things and get ourselves into a lot of trouble. But also the things that we didn't say, isn't it? When you could have, it was just so tempting to give back what I got, but I didn't. Held back, and I give myself a pat on the back. I didn't do it. I didn't say it. And so this brings joy to the mind. I have restrained my speech. I have held back from hurting someone. I really didn't want to hurt them, and I didn't. So again, just being grateful for all the little things that we do, all the little things that are worthy that we didn't even notice about ourselves. And also the good words we give. Our words are a gift. It's a gift. And how many gifts have you given during the day? Um, Many. We speak all day. And many of the things we say are worthy, are helpful, are beneficial to our clients. It brought peace to their minds. It helped them get through their day. It helped our children, our partners, make them feel at ease. Our words were a gift, maybe not every single one, but bringing to mind those moments where you were kind to someone, said something nice, and again, feeling good about yourself, bringing those to mind. The Buddha says, when you have done something, before you've done it, while you're doing it, and after you do it as well, to recollect, this was worthy, this was good, and this how do you say, solidifies it in words. Don't come at 4:30 in the morning. It clarifies it in your mind. It clarifies it in your mind. These are things that bring me joy. I did this and it brought me joy. So when we recollect it, it pinpoints, speaking like this makes me happy. I'll do it again. Yeah. So acts of speech. Enormous range, enormous range. But again, this is a practice I do at the end of my day, every day. Just go through my day. What did I say? How did I say it? And what could I not have said? What didn't I say? And just saying, oh, well, good on you, good on you. Good on you for being a gift to the world in some small way. Yeah, and finally we have those acts of sorry. Oh yeah, I wanted to add the other thing about speech is truthfulness, you know, truthfulness. When we have being honest, there's some great good feeling. There's some great good feeling. Sometimes we're dishonest in just very subtle ways. We say something that's pleasing that we didn't quite mean, or you quite sort of circumvent the truth. You weren't quite as open as you could have been, because again, we're trying to protect our egos, isn't it? And someone said the other day, when you speak the truth, you have no hidden agendas. No hidden agendas. You're being out there, you're being honest. And there's a great sense of freedom in that, isn't it? You don't have to put on a show, you don't have to, exhaust yourself trying to be somebody. When you're truthful, you're just no hidden agendas. This is what I can offer you, and I'm sorry, this is all I can offer you. So there's a great freedom and a great release and relief when we can just be honest. Of course, as a Buddhist monastic, that's one of my sort of code of conduct, and we take it very seriously. We have to confess every fortnight if we have broken any of our precepts. And so this is something, again, you don't have to sit in front of someone and say, oops, I told a lie. But in your mind, or maybe it is with someone, just sitting back and saying, oh, have I been truthful? Have I been really open and honest to the people around me, to myself? Hiding from ourselves are things that we don't like about ourselves. Not pretending, we just don't want to know certain things about ourselves that are not as nice as I'd like to be. But being honest, I have bad thoughts. I have mean and nasty thoughts, and I'm honest about that. Honest to myself and even to someone who, I trust, say, yep, wasn't all good. So yeah, the beauty of being truthful to others and truthful to ourselves about ourselves. And finally, acts of mind. So the Buddha says, of course, we know that the mind is the forerunner of all things. And when our mind is clear, then of course everything flows. So we notice those acts of mind that went on during our day. And above all, it's those intentions that we had. So again, like I said, the story of the Krishna temple, doing the same thing. But what was our intention? How did we approach our job? That it was not just a job, but it was something divine. It was a service. It was something we were trying to help somebody, be of benefit to those around us. What were our intentions during the day? What were good ones? What were not so wholesome ones? Because you are not an arahant. And just acknowledging, hey, I meant good. I meant good when I did this, and bringing it up in your heart. That feeling of when you did have a good intention and you acted upon it. Yeah. So we do good things during the day. It's just that we don't remember it. And we only remember the one niggly little thing that we messed up. So actively think, okay, I sat there in front of my client, or I had to give a talk, and I really wanted the people in front of me to find peace in my life. It wasn't about me, it was about the people in front of me. I really want to make them happy. Whatever it is. Yay, good old me. I did good. So, yes, acts of mind, which are basically our intentions, how we, what we really were thinking of when we started to get on with the day or get on with the job. So yeah, so like I said, when you bring this to mind, it it you remember during the day to put good things in, because you have brought it up at the end of the day and thought about, you know what is worthy. So so good intentions, because it feels good during the day. You want to do random acts of kindness. You kind of think, this feels good. There's someone who's wanting to cross the street. May I go and help them? Well, or acts of being generous with your time. We take it for granted. Time is a gift, and we give so much of our time to other people. Um, Wanting to be generous with that and acknowledging that I was generous with my time, and I could have just rushed off and done my own thing, but I sat there with that person who just wanted to talk and listen to them and listen to what the same old thing they've said again. But yeah, you want to do this because you feel good, and it was a, yeah, act of generosity. So like I said, this is something that I do at the end of the day, quite sometimes during the day as well, as a meditation, as a meditation. So how do you do this? So in the same way that we practice our meditation, we settle our minds and allow ourselves to calm down a little bit, because our mind is running all over the place. But once your mind is a little bit quiet, to reflect on what happened during the day. How did I wake up? What did I do? Who did I meet? What did I talk about? And just go through what happened during the day, and then recognize, what were the acts of body, what were the acts of speech, and what were my intentions as the day went on, and just bringing them to mind. Uh, and then just dwelling on the ones that bring you joy, dwelling on that moment of, when you gave of yourself, you spent time listening to that person, they just wanted to speak and you heard them, how good it felt. So just dwelling on that feeling of goodness, that feeling of having given of yourself, and it brings joy to the mind. And so, and that feeling of joy arises. You can just keep keep thinking of that moment, keep bringing up that happiness, and that joy starts to sort of pervade your mind, and all the other scattering thoughts hopefully fade away, and that moment of goodness that you had becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And then your mind starts to, you like good things. Mind starts to just pick it up and make it big, make it grow. And it settles down. It settles down. And that is what brings the mind to quietness, to a sense of peace and a sense of one-pointedness. Yeah. So that is how you could practice it, and then at the end, just bringing to mind, these are the things that will uphold truthfulness, harmlessness, generosity, and solidifying that in your mind. So that is the little talk I had for today. I'm glad it made more. The last time my mind was like 4:30 in the morning. Oh my God. But I hope that made sense to you. And yeah, if you have any questions, comments, something to add, please go ahead. Because I know everyone here has always something beautiful to say. Yeah. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Can I start with the question? The question.
Yes, certainly, certainly.
Yeah, so I think you kind of touched this at the end, in your kind of, when you're explaining towards the end, but if you
Right,
can expand that, what is the purpose of reflecting? Yes, we are doing good things, but then
right.
why are we reflecting? And uh, is it to kind of strengthen our karma, our whole set of
Right, right,
thoughts? Can you expand on that,
right,
Venerable?
right. Okay, so good point, good point. Why are we doing it? The obvious thing is, of course, it's good karma. It's good karma. But the second thing, more powerfully, is that it is the path of meditation. Because the path of uh, the mind quietening down is bringing joy to the mind. From joy arises one-pointedness. I can't remember the sequence at this time, but there's piti, pasadi, all those qualities of the mind. It's part of it's part of the bojjhangas, Once you have sati, dhamma vijaya, virya, then piti pasadi. So you're recollecting things that are of kusala, wholesome, and that brings joy to the mind, piti. And from that joy arises happiness. And from that happiness arises samadhi, arises a mind that is open and expansive and full of goodness. So it is not just about good karma, it is actually about developing the path to samadhi. So it's very powerful. You're taking those wholesome actions and you're um, uh, uh, making it grow, and it fills up your mind, and your mind is full of wholesomeness. Your mind is full of the beauty of that is its potential. So yeah, not only is it part of your good karma, it is actually the path of meditation. It is the path of practice that leads to the stilling and the beauty of the mind. And from that, when the mind is quiet and full of goodness, you can see things as they truly are. Wisdom can grow. It's nothing personal. It's just those good qualities that are impersonal, that you are upholding. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Manori? Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we have Anita. You can unmute yourself, I guess.
Thank you, sister. I was thinking about how sometimes maybe less so in a monastery, but in lay life, um, things can become or ethics or sila can become quite complex. So,
Right, right.
and then there's like the difference, right, between conventional, is it
Mm,
conventional ethics or and
yeah. Oh, has she gone to? Oh dear. Hello? Did everybody lose
Yeah,
Anita?
she's gone. I'll see if she comes back.
Oh dear. Mara. Okay. Okay, we'll go on to Adim. Oh, Richard, you'll have to put a virtual hand up. But okay, we will go to Richard because he's raised his hand 3 times unvirtually. So Richard, please go ahead.
Yes, hi.
Hi,
Good morning.
good morning. Good evening.
Yes, I mean myself, I find it's very, very helpful practice every day, to wake up in the morning and then realize actually it's a completely new day, and the whole feeling of the day is an opportunity to be of benefit to others and to yourself in a skillful way. So, because it just always feels like it's a completely new day every single day when you wake up, which of course it is, but it just, if you can, I find it's very helpful emotionally to do that. And I also regularly go to see a friend of mine about twice a week, and I read to him. I intentionally go to see this guy. This man, he's about 20 years older than me. He's very old. He's a very old American, very, very eccentric old American guy. So I've known him for about nearly 30 years. And so twice a week, I intentionally go to read to him. It can be very, very hard sometimes not to throw the book at him, to be honest, or even to throw a chair at the guy, because it can be very frustrating to actually try to read to, because he has perfect hearing, but he, for some reason, pretends not to hear me very well. But so it's very good practice not throwing the book at him, and it's very good practice to be nice to go to him, just to give him some company.
Right.
And the book, well, when I've finished one book, I then go on to another book. So at the moment, I'm reading a book about the previous life of the 13th Dalai Lama. So I'm reading to him about that.
Okay.
It's about ancient Tibet and how Tibet was like during the life of the 13th Dalai Lama. Whereas the next book could be completely different. Could be anything, literally on the planet. You can think of. But it's just very nice to, to go to see this friend of mine, to give him some company, to read to him. And it's just a very nice feeling of generosity.
Yes.
And it's just nice to do. So, it's just literally, I just do it out of the goodness of my friendship to him. But it's just a nice thing to do. And then by contrast, I work in a charity shop. So I work on the till in a charity shop. So I have to be very nice to people. Sometimes people are a bit crazy. And some people, some people, there's one old lady, for example, she has Alzheimer's, and she can't help it. She always comes to the shop and she, wants to buy something, but that she doesn't really. She's just a bit lost.
Oh, yeah.
And there's every sort of humanity in between, as well as young people, old people. So it's good practice to practice patience and loving kindness to this as well. It's very meaningful. So I generally try to do that. I tend to try to generally wake up with the intention to be kind.
Thank you.
And because it's very nice, and it makes your heart feel very nice. Makes your heart feel open. And on the other side of the coin, of course, there's things that you might not like. And so they can do various practices that I know of, for example, where you actually take on, these emotional things you might have that are not good. You can then visualize that other people have the same problem. So you can actually skillfully use the energy in a skillful way and use it to develop wisdom as well as compassion and loving kindness, which then naturally arises. So that's very, I do that.
Wonderful. Wow.
So I thought I'd just share that because that's what I try to do every day. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought I'd
Thank you,
share that
Richard.
anyway.
You always
You're
have
welcome.
something beautiful to add. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And I think Adimutta, is Adimutta? You had your hand up?
I did.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm
Go ahead.
also Amina, and I'm not sure which name to use because I like my Dhamma name.
Okay.
It reminds me to be resolved. And I wanted to ask, inspired, I think, was Manori's question. I just had a kind of little insight that I wanted your opinion on that. If you think you're on a monastic path, like sometimes I think, oh, I just want to ordain, you know. And so I had this view that focus on meditation as much as you can, minimize
Right.
relationships, minimize activity, minimize everything.
Right.
But then I end up suffering because I'm behaving like I'm in a monastery, but I'm in the real world. So then I have isolation and I have uncertainty, material uncertainty, because I'm not, you know. So now I thought, well, let's just give the real world a chance. Like, now I've made some progress in my meditation. I have more clarity, a bit more wisdom, a bit more metta, a bit. It's like, oh, you know,
Yeah, good
let's
on
see what
you.
happens just
Yeah.
being where I am. And so then realize all the other practices of the Eightfold Path are really useful, like you were saying,
Wow.
to calm the mind using skillful means of, like what you're describing today to us, of positive recollection of ourselves through these practices, etc. So now I'm realizing,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, I just realized that after the question and your response. So I'm wondering what your thoughts are and whether I'm deluded in some way.
No, sounds like sounds great. Because you can't create yourself a little monastic environment where, I mean, maybe you can, but you got to work with what you have. And I can tell you, just because you entered the monastery doesn't mean that everything is going to be perfect either. So you are, wherever you go, there you are. So you got to work with what you have, and like I said, just because you're in a monastery doesn't mean anything's going to be more perfect. It is a little bit better. So, and sometimes, you are where you need to be. You'd like to be otherwise, but that's your, they say when the student is ready, the teacher will come, and that's your teacher, where you are and the people you're with. And so take it as a sadhana, take it as a practice. That is my practice to be in this, that is my teacher. That is my monastery. But incline your mind towards the Dhamma. You're not doing your job for the sake of doing your job or whatever it is. You're doing your job for the sake of developing these qualities. Your mind is turned in another way. You're not just simply, paying the bills, but you're developing patience, you're developing kindness. That's what I'm trying to develop. Not the information that is required to get the job done. So make your life, you are a practitioner, but you're just using the form, you could say. Yeah, if that helps. Yes, go on. Oh, you can unmute Adimutta.
Oh, you can hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. But how do I know I'm not just trying to escape ordination?
Oh, right. How am you trying not to escape ordination? I don't know how these things happen. I don't know how. Actually, I was 23 when I sort of had the kind of idea to ordain. My mom is in the room. Um, uh, I didn't until I was 35. I got married and all kinds of things in between. But basically, I just kept on practicing with what I had. And then one day I just simply woke up and I thought that's the obvious thing to do. I've got to go to a monastery and not, happen to be there's a monastery in Perth where I grew up, but it just was the next obvious step. So it's not as though you have to think too much about it. You just keep going in that direction, and then when a door opens, I've lost Adivutta. Has she disappeared? I don't know. Oh no, there you are. Okay, you just got moved around. Okay, thanks. Yeah, when the door opens, go through. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Any more? Any more comments? Oh, Leah. Hello, Leah. Where is she?
Hello, Venerable. It's lovely to see you. Thank you so much
Oh.
for this lovely talk. I just wanted to say that I think that because fairly recently, I really established a regular practice and listening to Dhamma talks. And I think regular practice, especially loving kindness, it really helps with developing love and kindness for oneself. I've noticed a big difference since I started my regular practice, because you get in touch with yourself, and yeah, basically, if you practice, the more you practice, the more you develop the qualities,
Right, right.
because it's really quite simple. Because but you have to practice, and you have to listen to the talks and the guided meditations, because you can't do it on your own. I notice when I do my own practice, I do it's great, but then when I listen to a talk and I do a guided meditation, I see how you can get help to incline the mind, and to catch yourself during the day, because your life has to become a practice. Like everything you do you have to be, it's like what Ajahn Brahm says, when you sweep the floor, put everything you've got into it. So it's really very much that.
Right, right.
Yeah. And I used to find practicing love and kindness meditation very hard. But it is
Wow.
actually, yeah, it is
Wow.
the more powerful, well, it's very powerful meditation when you get over the hurdle of
Yeah.
developing that love for yourself.
Right, right. I'm glad, my goodness, after all those years that you
Yeah,
sort of jumped over the hurdle.
yeah, and it takes years to break
Yeah, it
fast
takes
to do
years.
that, yeah.
Takes
But
years.
then all of a sudden things change, but it's all the accumulative, it's cumulative, isn't it? I mean, you practice and for many years, and then after 10 years you start getting results, like good ones, like the juicy ones.
And the point is that you have to just keep practicing.
Yeah, exactly. You have to practice.
Yeah. Can't expect any kind of great miracles on day one. You
Yeah.
just keep plugging every
But
day.
and the regular practice,
Regular practice.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's my 2 pennies.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Likewise. It's lovely
Yeah.
to see you.
Okay, there are a couple of things in the chat. I have okay, someone saying came across Ajahn Brahm at his 880th month-old birthday. Okay, nice. And Surakshi says, thank you for the very helpful talk. How do you stop yourself from becoming overly proud of yourself when you recollect all the good things you've done? Right. Overly proud of yourself. So this is, it's not it's a feeling. Yeah, when you're starting to feel overly proud, then you know that's not it. That's not the practice. So you know the feeling in your heart, and if you start kind of going like, oh, awesome me, then you know, well, this is not quite Silanussati. So how do you, I think of these qualities as I'm tuning into something universal. This is not me. I am not I don't know, kind person or whatever it is, but I have tuned into a universal truth. And I am a universal truth that when that you are generous, you feel good. It's not, it's not about you. You are tuning into the Dhamma. You're tuning into the Dhamma. But again, you know, you notice when you're going down the wrong road, it feels odd. It feels like, so you know, well, that's definitely being proud. But you have to, you know, have to work these things out yourself. You have to experiment and go, how does it feel like when I recollected this way? How does it feel like when I recollected this way? This feels right. This feels ugh. So this helps me. This helps me not to take it personally. Okay. Any other wise and useful sharings? We've only got another 3 or 4 minutes. No? Wow. Okay. Usually there's all sorts of nice things to say, but okay. I guess we'll wrap up there then. If nobody has anything to add, I really enjoyed that. Thank you everyone for sharing. And it's, oh, there's someone. Joseph, please go ahead.
I'm a bit of reverse of the previous participant. My mind can go to the dark things, the things I didn't do.
Yes,
I could have done better.
Exactly.
And then that spiral down into the negativity.
Right.
So how do you balance that?
Right.
Against the good side.
Right. Yeah. It's a strong habit. I actually understand. I have the same tendency to kind of like dwell on the one tiny thing that I did wrong. For me, it has been just simply sometimes allowing that process to unfold. You can't force yourself out of this very strong habit. It's just a habit. There's no reality to it. It's just a habit. So you have to be just I guess, accepting of it. This is my tendency here. I'm doing it again, and go, like Richard said, I understand, you know, sometimes I understand others who feel this way. This is one of the beauties of suffering. You can help others afterwards. I can help you now because I have suffered the same way. And I use my these habits that I'd rather not have as a way of empathizing with others, and accepting and accepting my humanity, and going, oh, here I am being a fallible human being. Yeah, to allow yourself to be that way. To allow yourself to be that way, thinking, I shouldn't be critical. That does not work. So, and yes, the more you allow it into your heart the way you are, is not to fight it. And then you start to get a little bit of perspective around, why do I do this? You know, why am I doing it again? when you stop beating yourself up over beating yourself up. Yeah, we have to accept ourselves where we are and know we're just human beings. Yes. Okay, I hope that helps. I hope that helps. And thank you everyone for your comments, and thank you for your really useful talk. Exchange Richard says, I think it's good to exchange yourself, then it's easy and it's not personal. Thank you, Richard. Yeah, exchange, that's Tonglen practice. I do the same, Richard. Tonglen practice really works for me as well. And it says, thank you. And Leah says, thank you. Thank you to everybody as well. Yeah, very much.